I'm Cyclon, and welcome to my Aurabot leveling guide. Now this is for any level of gameplay, be it now either you quickly want to drink level an Aurabot, you want to just quickly level an Aurabot at League start with a buddy, or that you're going to play with, or you just want to casually approach the game with a duo, having fun with a friend, and casually approach campaign and end game. I'm quickly going to summarize how you're going to play the Aurabot during the campaign in those three styles. For the casual style, you will just run with your carry in all zones. You're going to take your time to get geared. You want your resistances kept. You want your good amount of life. You want a good amount of defenses. And you're going to use something that your carry can utilize. For example, if your carry uses Toxic Rain or Caustic Arrow, you can just use Wither as your main skill instead of using Trap Zams, or instead of on top of using them. And for your auras, you're most likely going to use one defensive aura like Grace and one offensive aura that is utilized by your carry. Now for the tryhard style or for the efficient style, you will be running separate zones. You're just going to focus on leveling in most cases, but also on some objectives, for example, Flooded Depths or the trial in Lower Prison. You can split off and you can run that so your carry can be time efficient. If you want a detailed notes how to efficiently level with two players, be it now either Aurabot and carry or two complete separate carries, go to my documents, which you can find in the description, and go to the leveling notes section, where I made a detailed list on what you can do as one person as a carry and the other person as the other person, be it now support, player, or a separate carry, and how you can efficiently run the campaign. Now in this case, depending on your skill level overall, you can either use two offensive auras, or you can use one offensive aura and haste, which is semi-offensive, semi-movement, so faster campaign, or you can just say, okay, I'm going to use one offensive and still one defensive to be on the safe side. That is up to you in this case. And the casual, I really recommend the defensive aura, while on this one I assume you want as much damage as possible early on, and you know a bit about how mechanically to dodge enemy attacks and stay alive in zones, even when your life pool is a bit lower. Now for the drink leveling section, just get yourself a buddy that is already in maps, that has like maybe a ranger, maybe an archer, or a winter orb, or anything that just explodes screens. Get him to run the campaign with you. He's just there to kill enemies. You're going to complete your objectives. You're also going to get all the gear you're going to equip and put it in your passive in your inventory. You're going to equip it as soon as possible. You're going to skip the early nodes, the early gems. You're going to directly going for the final tree, where you have all the aura nodes, energy shield nodes. You're not going to pick CI during the campaign, only do that once you have 4k ES, but that would be the best way to drink level an Aurabot. Now once you're done with the campaign, of course you can do any leveling strategy you want, be it 4 rays, 5 rays, breaches, Harbinger maps. There's pretty much a lot of things you can level them once you're done with the campaign. Just keep in mind that you want to be allowed level 60 when you finish the campaign, so you don't have to spend more time leveling up to that point. Now for the trees. At the beginning, we want to pretty much quickly just rush to this trap node. This is going to be exactly 12 points. With the passive points you get in Act 1, you'll be level 12. It's going to be 13 points. When you get to level 12, you will have access to this. And with that, you will do your trap damage and you can prison in the traps. But until then, we have to find something else. And we're going to start with Splitting Steel. Splitting Steel plus Onslaught and the 2 link you get from the first enemy you kill, and Splitting Steel will be the quest reward from Tarkly. And with this, you're going to have a 2 link that can kill in mudflats. But once you get to level 4, like after Tile Island, you want to replace this. So you want to look out for 3 links, 1 blue blue green, 1 blue blue blue, and 1 blue green, preferably also blue blue green if doable. The links that you want to have is a Frostbomb with Onslaught. Frostbomb you will get as a reward for Crest again. Stormblast Mine and Swift Assembly you will both have to buy. Frostblink and Arcane Surge are both rewards again. And Orb of Storms, which you can either link to the Frostbomb Onslaught or the Frostblink Arcane Surge to have it in a 3 link and utilize the support gems. Now the tree, we are still level 4, so we're still going for the same thing on the tree. On level 8, we get access to added lightning damage, which we're going to link to our Stormblast Mine. If we only have found 1 blue blue green, we want to have that in there, and we're going to drop Frost Bomb temporarily because we are mainly focusing on level and not quickly running through zones. Until we have a blue-green again, there we can use Frost Bomb Onslaught again in there. Tree still the same approach. Once we get to level 10, we get access to Flame Dash after we killed the Brutos in Upper Prison. We can't use this right now because of how we pass in the tree, but once we either take the Intelligence Node up here, or we get a Lapis Amulet, or any rare that has, or magic item that has an Intelligence roll, we will be able to replace our Frostblink with Flame Dash. Once we are level 12, we can also replace Stormblast Mine with Lightning Trap and Swift Assembly with multiple traps. While it's going to lower the overall damage, the consistent 2 additional throws of Lightning Trap will be better than Swift Assembly, as they are thrown in a linear line and we will have more overlapping hits on bigger enemies. Now that we get to level 20, we are finally able to do some more stuff on our tree. Now the first thing that you want to prepare is at level 20 you want a wand recipe preferably. You want a magical wand, a rare topaz ring, and an orb of alteration. And with this you can make at level 20 a wand that gives you added lightning damage. As for your auras, you're going to get on level 16, you get a Herald of Thunder and a Skitterbot. Well, they're not auras, but they reserve your mana. And you can get on level 18 a Controlled Destruction or Elemental Focus for your Orb of Storms. So you would be dropping Frostbomb, you will still keep Lightning Traps in Orb of Storms, and you will have an Orb of Storms, Onslaught, Controlled Destruction or Elemental Focus. And you will have a Lightning Trap with added lightning damage and multiple traps. Now for your tree, we have here, we're going to first pick up the Intelligence Node if we still need it to use our Flame Dash. We're going to pick up the Mastery that gives us 30 life whenever a trap is triggered by an enemy. We're going to take the 2 life nodes, and then we're going to take the projectile nodes. Taking the projectile nodes here and the wand recipe and hopefully a falling will be enough damage to get us all the way to level 31. If we don't get the falling, we can alternatively get into this mysticism node that will be replacing the damage for the falling. But getting either a blue green to add elemental focus to our lightning trap, or a blue green to get a trap and mine damage to our lightning trap will be doable. If we have to do this, we're going to take longer to get our Aurabot started as an Aurabot, because if we don't need this, exactly at level 31, with the respect points we get from Act 4 by freeing Desperate Spirits and from Act 3, we will be able to pick Charisma, Leadership, and Influence, I think was the name. So with this, we are perfectly ready to be an Aurabot. But there are a few more things we need to transition into Aurabot. Even before level 31, we need to look for a red, blue, and then whatever other offensive aura you need. Or if you only need one offensive aura, a red, blue, and then any other aura, and then the color spot on any other spot. As a color socket on any other spot on the gear, be it green for grace, blue for purity of elements, whatever you want to run. We also need to look for sword, axe, or scepter with an attack speed wall, so we can use smite. And we want to look for a shield with life and resistances, because we are going to use, we don't need to do a damage our own anymore. Last, we also need to run library, or get somebody to run library for us, to get generosity, so that we can actually use the Aurabot properly to give generosity our auras only to the carry, because we don't need the damage anymore. Once we are level 31, there are a few more things on the tree we want before we just get everything else. We want to rush Sovereignty, so we have the Aura Effect node here and the Reservation here. With this we have all the Aura nodes on the tree. Then we want Purity of Flesh and Written in Blood for more life and energy shield, Devotion for life and Aura Effect, and then we want the rest of the core tree. Now here, if you want to push as many auras as possible, you do want to quickly get the Mastery for Discipline, 25% efficiency on it, and for Grace, also the 25 efficiency on it, so that you can very quickly fit all your auras in. And once you get the Wings of Vastiri in the bathhouse in Act 8, you want a Jewel Socket to fit in Conqueror's efficiency. As for your Ogre progression in the campaign, once you're level 31, because of the nerfs this league, we are only able to fit 2 50% auras in Smite in. The 50% auras can either be offensive or defensive, as mentioned in for what playstyle you want to play. And when we get 60 mana, about 60 mana on gear, we can fit a discipline and still have enough mana to flame dash or smite once every few seconds, which is nice for an additional layer of survivability for the first lap. Then once we get Serenity, we're able to fit a third 50% aura, so we can replace the discipline with the grace, again under the assumption that we have some mana on the gear. And once we get to the second lap, Conqueror's Efficiency, and also I haven't noted down here, but also would help to have the discipline and the grace mastery, we're able to fit 3 50% auras smite and all level 1 flat auras, so that we can say, alright, our Necromancer Sensi gives now 2% attack and cast speed, so that is 6 from the flat auras, and another 6 from the 50% auras and 2 from smite, adding up to a total of 14% attack and cast speed, which at that point in the campaign is still pretty good. Lastly, we will also need one reservation efficiency cluster with 3 passives, so we can re-add discipline. Now, alternatively, if you already know you're going to use one aura all the way to endgame maps, you can look for a 2 passives efficiency cluster with a notable for that aura you're going to keep using, if it's not discipline or grace. It has to be either you're already using determination and it's for determination, or it's for one of the offensive auras you're using. Once you're in maps, there are few auras you will very quickly need. You're going to, if you're not using it before this, you will need to use Purity of Elements for now. Very quickly you want to replace Purity of Elements with Purity of Ice, Fire and Lightning. After that you want to add Defiance better because you're still in early maps and your evasion is still better than your armor. And then finally you want to add Determination to your build. With this you now should have all 10 defensive auras and 1 offensive aura. The next goal is to adding a second offensive aura if you haven't done that prior to that and now re-add it. And lastly, with the last steps of maxing it out, you can add a third aura, but that will be already in the mid-investment level, where you can now add a third offensive aura, or you can add haste to the build to be a bit faster. And that is pretty much everything for the Aurabot. If I forgot anything, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will answer it as fast as possible. That being said, hopefully you have a wonderful league start and see you at a different video.